Hi, I'm Zaka, and today our group will introduce Japanese cuisine culture.
I'm Jocelyn. I'm going to introduce some table manners and taboos in Japan. Japan is a world-recognized country of etiquette, especially in Japanese food culture, eating habits, and table manners. There are many unwritten customary forms and dietary taboos that must be avoided. Next, I will introduce some behaviors that can and cannot be done. First, in Japanese food culture etiquette, the left side is the highest order, so please remember to start with the left side meal in the correct way of eating Japanese cuisine. In addition to paying attention to the position of Japanese food, Japanese are used to taking a sip of soup first, followed by rice, main dish, and side dishes. Second, when attending a party, Japanese pay attention to everyone's unity and sense of integrity, so they will be used to wait until everyone's cooking is served, and then everyone starts at the same time, even drinking. It is considered impolite to eat first by yourself. Third, not making a sound when eating is a table manner recognized by the general public. However, because Japanese are accustomed to eating noodles by sucking, it is a habit to make sounds naturally when eating noodles. These points are some dietary taboos. First, it is a violation of Japanese table manner to use the other hand as a plate for fear of dripping when picking up food. The correct way should be to use dishes and other containers or napkins to assist. Second, sometimes, in order to be considerate of the staff's hard work, we will fold up the empty plates first. However, the materials of the dishes are different, and stacking the dishes may cause scratches on the dishes. Third, except for certain occasions such as festivals, eating while walking is a principle regarded as indecent by the Japanese. Some well-known tourist attractions have been suffering from littering by tourists for a long time, and the goods in the store are soiled by the food in the hands of the guests. And in Japan, there are some wrong ways to use chopsticks, like use chopsticks to pick up food and eat, use chopsticks to move tableware, pass food between chopsticks, and use the same pan to hold chopsticks and other tableware. Then, like in Taiwan, there may be the habit of helping others to keep up dishes, which will be regarded as an impolite behavior in Japan.
So now I will introduce the Japanese food culture. And in Japanese food culture, there are three really special things. And first of all, is the special thing is the diversity ingredient. And it has a diversity in flavor and ingredients. And most of the Japanese, they will use seasonal, freshest ingredients, and which is really fresh and also not expensive. And people know that most of the Japanese always has a long, healthy life. And one of the big reason is they always use less oil in their everyday meal. And second, in their meal, it has one soup and three dishes and even more. And that's because of this, they get a variety of vegetables, proteins, and carbohydrates into their diet. And they're really concerned a lot about nutrition balance in their meal. And the the third special thing is the art of Japanese food, because most of the people think about Japanese foods, they will think about the yard or the wooden house or even the beautiful food plate. And Japanese, they're really concerned about the arrangement on the plate, and they when they prepare the meal, and they even really concerned about a mix of colors and even the patterns, like the five colors they always use in their meal: red, green, black, white, and yellow, like the pictures you can see the red and the yellow and the green and black and white, right? And the third thing is they're really concerned about the landscaping, like what I said before. Most of people they think about the yard, and even Japanese the restaurants balls they will plant some trees and to make the customers when they have a meal they can watch a beautiful view, and they think that is also an important role when the customers eating the Japanese food. Then I will introduce the three common and important Japanese cuisine, which is Hazen cuisine, Kaseki cuisine, and Yoshoku cuisine. And first of all, I will introduce the Hazen cuisine, and it is a type of traditional food among Japanese style cuisine, and it is from long time ago. It has strict manner about everything, such as food plate or the serving order, and the cuisine are served on legged trays, like the pictures, like the pictures. The first leg tray we call them 本善, that is why the name is 本善料理, which means the biggest one and the first table. And since the Meiji period, these manners has been out of fashion, and we can only see the trace of them during the formal ceremonial occasions such as the coming of age day or marriage or funeral ceremonies. Then it's the Kaseki cuisine, and the Kaseki cuisine is which is from the 16th century and which is type of art form that balance the taste, texture, appearance, and colors of food. And in the beginning, it's just a simple meal that the host serves to the guests before a cup of tea or some drink. Then Japanese tea ceremony become more famous between noble, so the Kaseki cuisine also changed to be various and delicate to noble. The most special thing is most of the ingredients are taken from the season, so the food will be really fresh and not expensive, like what I said before. And now, in some Japanese restaurant, we can see some tiny, delicate food, and that is from Kaseki cuisine. And this kind of cuisine also really represent the Japanese food culture. Then is I will introduce a Yoshoku cuisine, and which is many of the Westerners who started to live in Japan at that time refused to touch traditional Japanese food, and so their private Japanese chefs learned how to cook them Western style cuisine, often with a Japanese spin, and which is um which originated during the Meiji Restoration.
Hello everyone, uh, I'm, I'm Rita and I'm going to talk about the history of sashimi. In the 14th century AD, it became fashionable for Japanese to eat sashimi. At that time, people used the word kwai to summarize sashimi. Kwai refers to raw fish shreds and shredded pork, and this can also refer to the fish shreds and shredded pork soaked in the vinegar. Sashimi was just a cooking method for kwai. It wasn't until the 15th century that soy sauce was introduced to Japan and widely used, and sashimi gradually evolved into its current style. Next, I want to talk about the origin of eating sashimi. First, Japan is surrounded by the sea. Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, Nagoya, and other places, no matter which city, has the unloading port of seafood from a long time ago. Moreover, the ports are not far from the place where the population is concentrated. Second, the nutritional value of sashimi is quite high. Sashimi is rich in protein. It's also rich in vitamin and trace minerals. It has lower fat content, but it contains a lot of DHA. It can be said to be nutritious and easily assimilated food. I want to talk about how to eat sashimi. Soy sauce plays an important role in eating sashimi because it can remove the fish's seasoning. Japanese will eat sashimi with mustard and ginger, which can eliminate the fish's smells and also has an antiseptic effect. Orange and pepper are also the common seasoning when people eat sashimi. Japanese raw food is closely related to the Japanese habit of eating rice. The Japanese have developed rice food culture since the Yayoi period. Thus, they eat sashimi with rice dipped in soy sauce or other seasoning.
Hi, my name is Curly. I'm going to introduce the culture of liquor. The word sake in Japanese actually refers to any alcoholic beverage, but now the meaning of sake in English only includes chinjo. Sake is made with rice and water as ingredients and is brewed using the unique Japanese brewing method. And the second one is how to make sake. Sake is a type of brewed wine, and they are all made by fermentation. However, there is no sugar in the raw materials of sake, so saccharification is required to convert the raw materials into sugar. In the process of brewing sake, saccharification and fermentation are carried out at the same time. And the next part is Japanese drinking culture. The first one is when toasting, the position of the cup can't be higher than the others. Whether it is a group toast with all the staff or when toasting with your boss, you should pay attention to the position of your own glass about 1 centimeter below the other party's glass so as not to appear rude. The next one is the way to pour sake is very different. When pouring Japanese sake, just pour it with one hand. If you want to show respect, you can also use your other hand as a support, taking into account not to spill it. 8 points are just right. And the next one is pay attention to the situation in the other party's glass at all times. When you see that there is no beer in your boss's glass, pour the beer right away. It will make people feel that you are very knowledgeable. It's best to keep the menu within your fingertips so that it's easier to order from the staff.
So here is our job distribution, and our four people we separate four parts. And I'm the PPT maker. I'm Zaka. And here is our reference. And thank you for your listening.